So let's talk about these upcoming 3 episodes that will be happening after the final shape. These 3 episodes are supposed to help wrap up some side stories and plots of the final shape and give us an overlook on what is happening now that the witness is either dead, gone, or whatever we do to him in the final shape. We really will only know once we get there, but today we can sort of theory craft and kind of look at the details that may be happening in these episodes. I just want to clarify that these are my takes, theories, and anything that I say may not be factual or legitimate. I haven't looked at any leaks, so I have absolutely zero idea what's going to be happening in these episodes, and I'm only using what is public and kind of just breaking it down from what we've seen and just kind of giving my take on this. Let's start off with echoes. From what I can make out of the image, it appears to either be Vex themed with possibly a jungle of some kind. I'm gonna assume this is either Venus or the Black Garden with some sort of new Vex enemy type or boss. I'm gonna assume that it's probably a new enemy type and a boss. You know, kind of like how Tormentors are, it could be something like that. And we finally get some new Vex units finally, maybe. I mean, all these other Vex that we've been fighting have just been workers and builders and all this other stuff. Now we're going to actually be fighting some soldiers and maybe possibly even some elites. That would be sick. The episode's also themed after like the color red. I'm not really too sure if the color really means anything. I think the color is just kind of there for the red eyes of the Vex, kind of giving it like a Predator or a Rambo kind of vibe because it's in the jungle, which is kind of cool, but possibly it could have something to do with the Leviathan. The reason why I think this is because the name is also called Echoes. The Vex are on the moon, and the Vex on the moon have stuff to do with the Black Garden, so with the jungle theme, these leafy plants kind of insinuate that these Vex are most likely going to be from the Black Garden or some sort of jungle. Them taking over the Leviathan and trying to harness the ability of nightmares or even egregore is kind of terrifying to think about. Think about a Vex covered in spores charging at you. Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. We could possibly be getting the Flood 2.0 on our hands. Time traveling Flood. Oh boy. Another thing this could possibly be is Brother Vance. Brother Vance may return. Osiris and Brother Vance both have encountered echoes. If you remember back in Curse of Osiris, Osiris had this sort of ability to manipulate these echoes and use them to fight the Vex. And when Brother Vance went into one of these echoes during the end of Season of Arrivals, became a counter with this, he was able to harness this ability and kind of use it. Possibly echoes could be this new sort of ability that we unlock, maybe our 3rd and final subclass. I have a theory that our 3rd and final subclass may not just be a darkness subclass, but maybe an artificial subclass. Next, we're going to be moving on to the episode of Revenant. Obviously, this one is about the Scorn, and of course, Papa Fickrel, the fanatic, and leader of the Scorn. If you don't know who Fickrel was, back in Forsaken, we killed him. Uldren kind of set him free, and he assisted Uldren on killing Cade, etc. I think most of you know who Fickrel is. This episode could be really interesting, as the Scorn are currently working with the Witness, and we know that they've been growing and creating their own structure and culture among themselves. We have little to no idea where Fickrel may be hiding, and the only thing we know is that he's unkillable and is capable of resurrecting some of his barons at any point of time. We know that some barons are permanently dead, but others can just come back, so, you know, who knows what Fickrel is doing. I'm fairly certain that Fickrel isn't working with the Witness, or at least not willingly working with the Witness, and the Witness has figured out another way of creating Scorn that are of a different family, and I feel like maybe that might collide with Fickrel's beliefs. It will be very interesting to have Crow and Ikora figure out how to either permanently kill or capture Fickrel. I don't really have much on this one. Finally, our 3rd announced episode is known as Heresy. This one may be my biggest stretch yet, and possibly may just be completely incorrect. However, I think I know what's going on in Heresy. This episode was actually the reason why I made this video in the first place, and you'll probably see why here in a second. So if you are a lore nerd, or if you know anything about the lore, which if you do, please correct me in the comments if I get any of this wrong, there is an old story about the Hive back when the Osmium King was dying on Fundament. And before the 3 sisters became Hive, there was a tutor named, I believe, Tox? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Taox. Tokes. She was a Krill who tutored the three daughters. Basically, she helped kill the Osmium King and attempted to kill the three sisters, but they managed to escape, and she pretty much took over rule until the three sisters came back with a hive and started attacking the Krill. So the Krill and the hive had this big war and all this until she eventually fled until she vanished. She's still alive, she's still out there. This may be what the episode is about Tokes returning, possibly having Savathun and Xivu Araf, if she's still alive at this point, kind of confronting her. I believe that Tokes may be friendly towards us. She may be the one and only friendly hive that we actually get. In fact, I don't think Tokes is a hive. I think she's a Krill, and we will befriend the Krill before we befriend the hive. This is just a stretch, it's just a theory, but I believe in Heresy, we will meet the Krill once and for all, not the hive, the Krill themselves. This is all that I really can get from these 3 episodes. There really isn't much else I could go over. If you have any questions, then leave them in the comments below. Feel free to correct me on any information I got wrong. Feel free to like and subscribe as well, and I will see you guys later.